let my child and her husband go out and have a night on the town, get a break from the kiddos. Except she texted me this morning. She was like, "Oh my God, they woke me up at 5:30 in the morning."
Of course they do. That's
Where
the other part of that game.
when it's a day to go to daycare, they don't want to get moving. But when I can sleep in, they wake up. It was hilarious. Good times.
Yes, they're 3-1.
Yes, basically 3-1. Yeah.
You're a brave man, Scott.
Yeah, I told my daughter, I'm like, I am sure I can do it, but it's been 25 years.
Mm-hmm.
Good morning, Michelle. But yeah, I loved it. Good babies.
So, so my big things were they arrested a judge in your state.
Yeah, that's crazy. They're getting pretty brazen.
Well, she was apparently a huge supporter of the woman that won the Supreme Court. So that was a not very cleverly veiled threat, to put it mildly.
Yeah, from what I read, she did nothing wrong.
Yeah, I could never find in the articles they said what they arrested her for, but they didn't say what she allegedly did.
I mean, it's just he was in court for something not related to immigration or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So there's no due process there, and it's basically against the law. So after the proceeding is over, she heard that ICE was there for him. So she just mentioned go out that door.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they arrested her for aiding and abetting a ICE deportation or something.
Well, if we thought any of those were worth the paper they were written on, we might have some sympathy for that. But since we all know, there's a case in Texas, and they have it on the ring that was they have a ring on the outside of the apartment. And when the ICE officers came and picked this guy up, you can hear the ICE officers talking, and they said, "Oh, this isn't the right guy," and they said, "Take him anyway."
Oh yeah, I read something about a 2-year-old child was deported.
Yeah, and there's a child who has a very rare form of cancer that needs constant medical treatment. They're ugly people doing ugly things. But on the other side, apparently Maine has had it with Susan Collins. They did a big AP poll, and 71% of the voters that they surveyed don't want her back in the Senate. And the Republicans kind of don't want her back in because she's sort of sided with the Democrats occasionally. The Democrats don't want her back in there because her stupidity. She could have gotten rid of him, and she didn't. So it looks like Susan's on the way out the door. And they really are nationally paying a lot more attention. So for all those people said, does it make a difference if I go out to these demonstrations? Well, only go out if your health will allow it. But if you can go spend a couple hours on those picket lines, the more bodies the Republicans see out there, the more scared they're getting, and the groups are growing. And the younger people are seeing that their elders are not going to sell them out, and they're out there, but they're being very mindful and being very respectful.
Yep, good news. It's amazing. I think Susan Collins won only because of name recognition. Because Maine has a Democratic governor. They're 50-50 usually, but people are waking up.
Oh, if these people are suffering from a computer outage, I had no computer at all on Friday. I woke up in the morning and it was gone, and apparently it had disappeared at 11 o'clock in the evening. And they said it would be back on at 10 in the morning, and I had shows to do and things to do, and I couldn't do any of them. And I had to rearrange my whole schedule. So I got a whole Friday free. So I got to go vote. And now is the time to vote if you have like city council elections and stuff. It's that season. It's the nonpartisan voting season. And that's really where it starts, because I did my went to Ballotpedia and read up on my guys. And fortunately, I know enough about the power structure of Dallas that some of the stuff you can't kind of get from the surveys they fill out, because nobody's going to say I stabbed children in the middle of the night. So, you're kind of screwed. And
you have another elections in May?
Yeah, city council.
Really?
And flood district and water department things, something. And my part of Dallas County we weren't electing the officers for that. All it was for city council. And we had a woman who was in the city council seat, and we have elections every 2 years. She'd been there for 4 or 6 years, and they can serve 8. And at 8, they have to leave. They have term limits here. And she left, and I didn't know she was leaving. All of a sudden, we started getting these big, slick, shiny mailers, all for one candidate, all for this one guy. So I knew I wasn't going to vote for him, because I know how much those cost, and I know who pays for them. And that was pretty much true. What I do, since I know my local politics, I look at who their major donors are.
Mm.
And you can't go by Harlan Crow, because he gives to everybody, but you can go by certain other names. And I won't mention the name of the woman, but as soon as I saw she was giving to the guy who the mailers were coming through my door about, I said, okay, I can't vote for him. So then I did some deep research into the other 3. And there's one guy, he works with parks and trails and does a lot of stuff like that. He also works in real estate, but he works in residential real estate, not commercial real estate. And so he ended up being my choice. There was another guy who would have been an equally good choice, but he does it totally on social matters. And I knew he didn't have a chance in hell up here where I live. They don't care.
Mm.
They say, we want to do something about the homeless. And it means move them to another district, not mine. So I went and voted, and it was a pretty active voting place. So I was kind of pleased to see that.
Good.
And Paxton made friends all over the place. He went in and he had a court case against the city council of Austin because they decriminalized small amounts of marijuana. He said, no, we can't have the evil weed on the street. And he is such a little putz. I just want to, every time I see his picture, I just want to punch him in the face.
Pretty much. That's funny.
And he did it. It's in Austin. You're telling people in Austin they can't smoke weed? I mean, that's Willie Nelson's playground. Are you kidding? And
speaking of senators, my Senator Ron Johnson last week was on right-wing Benny Johnson saying we need to investigate the inside job of 9/11. That's his priorities.
Okay.
They're still so on board with reality.
Well, we saw a bit of reality though. First of all, we saw Trump speaking to Zelensky, which was interesting. Did you see the body language of the two of them talking? Trump looked like a little slumped over, incredibly overweight man, looking like he was being beaten up. But then what was brilliant was when they stood up and Macron came in, and Macron crossed over and he shook. If you don't, you can find this video. It's running everywhere. Macron came in and he shook Zelensky's hand and thanked him. And Trump, and Trump was standing right there and he was trying to shake Macron's hand, and Macron literally brushed him off. Just get out of my way, fat old man. So it was kind of brilliant.
Yeah. I don't know how you can walk around in public and not feel the tension of everyone hating you.
Oh, he does. But I mean, he's lived with Melania for years. He's lived with the same man.
No, they live in separate places.
Yeah, but they occasionally see each other.
Yeah, you look at all the pictures and it's like, was that even Melania? She doesn't. It doesn't look like her at all.
And Giant Baron.
she looked like she was 20 years older. Went up close pictures at the funeral and whatnot. And,
Well,
and then getting on the plane, that didn't look like her. Had the big old glasses again.
yeah.
It's like, wait a minute.
Well, yeah, I would not expect Trump would have any idea of how to behave at a funeral, guys. So much less one that's as formal as the Pope's. But
okay, where do you want to start? You're in charge. You started the link today, so you got the.
I did. Do you want to ask if the Pope's death is going to make a difference? Because now we have all the wrangling within the Catholic Church. Is the Pope's death going to make a difference in world politics right now? Or is it just going to slide through?
Morning, Carrie.
Mm-hmm.
Got ghosted. Yes, he did. Melania looked like a surgically altered Epstein with a black doily over her head.
Maybe that's maybe who's in that body. Who knows?
Pope Francis passing. Change the political climate.
Well, I just got as much of a no as you can get. I got no, they're still going to be fighting with each other on the inside. And no, they're going to march on and do the hierarchy the way they want. It's good for him because he's out of the prison he was sort of stuck in. The Sun says it's still going to end up being a good thing for us one way or the other, because now the church has to take a hard look at itself if it wants to. But they're already fighting over nations that believe that immigrants should be allowed and those that shouldn't. What you get?
So, I get petty conflicts of New Horizons,
Mm-hmm.
followed by moving on.
Mm-hmm.
So we got Six of Swords and the Seven of Pentacles. Kind of like it feels like building from his mentorship of his word,
Mm-hmm.
and then Ten of Pentacles feels like so. The next Pope might have someone that not related, but in his following.
Okay.
Continue what he is.
Moderate.
So then we got Knight of Pentacles, Five of Cups, Knight of Wands. That's kind of like staying the course. Five of Cups is that grief by that community, and the Knight of Wands is changing the passion or being that passion. So the outcome of what the question was, will it change the political climate? No.
No.
Four of Cups is discontentment and boredom.
Mm-hmm.
Hangman is a new perspective, but surrendering. King of Swords is that authoritative leader, and then Death card, change. So it isn't about love and change. It's about, okay, we move on. They still love their political, it's always got to come from a tower moment within to make that change.
Mm-hmm.
The passing of someone of that importance doesn't change a political environment. It's what these cards are telling me, my senses. But the big one is like Four of Cups is like, that isn't a card that tells you, yeah, I'm going to change my mind because of, someone's passing. It's discontentment, it's apathy, it's uninspired.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that changes any political climates. It's more of a looking to start anew.
Right.
Hoping to build on what Pope Francis felt.
Well, he he did a lot about the bank that they ran that covered for the mafia. So we'll see. He was a more progressive pope, and they tend to swing back and forth. Okay, we got another one. Is the judge's arrest the final straw for CODIS?
Good. Oh crap, we're next. Okay. Clear. Wisconsin judge. Does it change? Well, you know, they did it to themselves. Think it'd be a good thing to give a dictator any power. Okay. What's the judge arrest the final straw?
What I see is she's going to be okay, but this has really upset her. And this is about the Supreme Court. 7 of Swords. They're going to take some and leave some. So whatever judgment they come up with is still not going to make most of the people watching this show happy. But there's clearly going to be a judgment. There's a judgment coming. And how's it work out? Well, nobody's going to like what they come up with. But just the fact we're not going to be sitting there waiting for the Supreme Court to make a judgment is going to help, because people are going to sit thinking it's like Smith was going to do it, Mueller's going to do it. We think the Supreme Court's going to do it. I think they're afraid to push him because I think they're afraid of what he's going to do to them. But whatever judgment they come up with, it'll be better than we thought we were going to get. But it's going to slow them down a little bit. But I don't think her arrest matters. The only thing they're worried about is their arrest. And the only ones that could be arrested, Thomas and Alito. And they don't have, and they're little Opus Dei friends. So what you get?
Yeah, they created a devil. So in the past possession, I get Wheel of Fortune, Emperor, and the Devil.
Oh dear.
So they created this mess by giving that orders to the Emperor. So I would see if something comes up in front of them, they are going to turn more to stop what they can of this. Because I have the Magician, Moon, and Knight of Cups. So the Moon is that secret fears, the deception, the hidden motives. Magician, they have the power to change, and Knight of Cups is making a better offer and proposal in the future. The rest of the cards here are all positive, making change. 3 of Wands here, Ace of Cups, 9 of Pentacles. That's looking outward for a different advantage. Making 9 of Pentacles is always like my balance card, balancing the scales, balancing security. So once something comes with that 3 of Wands, they're going to change. Outcome, Ace of Pentacles, Page of Pentacles, Page of Cups, King of Swords, making an order for something new, making for better prosperity. Pages are always about creating new. Yeah, if it comes up from them, they will do something in a better aspect to try to walk back their devilish moves before, because it's not a good thing. They created a monster.
So, and now we're going to talk to other lawyers. I get so sick of talking about lawyers. It's one of the reasons I got out of doing politics. There's nothing but a bunch of lawyers. Will the DOJ lawyers be arrested for contempt this week?
Most likely talking about the Garcia case.
I think they're talking about Bondi and some of the other stuff she's come up with. It's even more outrageous.
I seen that case was put on hold. There was a private order.
It'll be the Garcia case if they move on them, because it's got to be something that's active. And so it would be the ones that are in charge of the Garcia case, because they lied to the court about what they were doing.
Yeah. The last I seen, there was a hearing the 30th, because both sides put in confidential orders to the court, and it wasn't released to the public. They both agreed, even the defense, to wait until the 30th. So maybe there's a...
Well, today's the
27th.
27th. The 30th is coming up, kids.
So there's an agreeable pause for some reason. So hopefully they're working out a deal there.
I hope they're working out a way to arrest him.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, DOJ lawyers... Okay, contempt. Will there be contempt?
Woo!
Anytime soon. Will there be contempt? Will there be contempt anytime soon? Contempt anytime soon. Oh, got the Queen of Swords started, so that's the female judge.
No. I've got that. You want me to go?
Yeah, go ahead.
That the court looks upon the work, whatever the DOJ gave him was a pile of crap.
Makes sense, yeah.
I have allergies. They've put out feelers to get them to change things with the court, with the Page of Cups, Knight of Cups. But the sun means yes, right side up or upside down. It won't be what we want. They're going to tell them they have to put all this stuff aside. And the court's coming in like the King of Pentacles. They're going to tell them what they got to do.
Good. So, I dropped the Queen of Swords first. So that would be the judge. And that's next to the King of Cups and the Moon. So that makes sense with secret dealings going on right now. And then I come up, next three are Queen of Coins, Ace of Swords, and Ace of Wands. So we got some changes and new ideas coming up in positive energy. Maybe orders from the Queen. Outcome, Chariot, taking charge. 9 of 10 of coins is like making things proper. And the Page of Swords is kind of opposite. So that would be a threat.
I think they're going to threaten him.
Court is taking charge here. If you don't make the balance, you don't do it, you're told, I will bring in that threat of a contempt. So she's not messing around. The courts aren't messing around with orders.
And it's not like the house. She has a jail she can put you in.
Yeah. So bottom of the deck, I do have paperwork and an order of the 3 of coins. So right now it still feels like a threat. They will do it. If it comes down to it. So this week, I'm not getting like a boom of yes. It's still in the threat stage, I think.
I think whatever she says to him, the answer is going to be plain. Okay, this one's an easy one. Is Rubio on autopilot? Okay, guys, that's assuming there's something in there to pilot.
Yeah, he's more and more working for Vladimir. Instead of talking about anything serious, I noticed briefly he was on the weekend show talking about the 51st state of Canada instead of anything important. So
I could tell them my family ended up in Canada because on my father's side, they owned a plantation in Virginia, but they were loyal to the king, and they were given 48 hours to get off the plantation, and they were put on. There's a whole group, the whole area up in Ontario where my family was, all came from people that their earliest people, the white people that were there, were all people who were thrown off their plantations and sent north. Real easy to run a country if you get rid of everybody who doesn't like you. You know? And I used to always hear that side of the American Revolution, which my friends never saw in the history books they read. So, but that has, I can tell you the people that are up there know they got thrown out and they don't want to come back. Matter of fact, they're just delighted they weren't part of it. So.
Good morning, Mary Young from Milwaukee.
Oh,
it's my second home away every day when I every day for work.
I've got a weird answer on Rubio.
Rubio, what's up with Marco Rubio?
Well, Marco's, he's looking for a guiding light. The bottom of the deck is the Hermit. He's trying to figure out what to do. He doesn't know how to get out of where he is. This six of swords upside down. And he just wants to be the good little page. And you know what? I think this guy's so delusional, he doesn't think it's all that strange. He's happy. But he's not going to take any actions to change his situation. But I think something's going to come up and he's going to have to move. He thinks he's built himself a cozy little fort to hide in. I think he's in a massive state of depression. And you just have to look at his face. I've had friends that were recently released from the home after being medicated, and they had the same look on their face as he does. So tells you more about my early years than you ought to know. But
I think he's all in for the current administration.
Mm-hmm.
He's doing his duty. Knight of Coins, Page of Cups, the Empress. So he's all in. There's no, I mean, I am seeing some internal struggles himself from, of who he actually is. He's not, deep down, he's not a horrible person, but he's playing the game. Because
no, he is a horrible person.
Well, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know.
He's showing he's a horrible person, but deep down, it's not who he is, but he's playing the Republican game. I got the 10 of Wands here on the bottom of the deck showing his burdens. He's being that authoritative person of the King of Swords. When justice rolls down here with the court, he's doing that Two of Swords kind of moment. I'm going to play it by however I feel it should play out in his current role. He's not taking charge of anything. He's just going by the seat of his pants and being the good little boy. And you got that 10 of Cups too. I got it too. He's all in that Republican family and playing that game. So autopilot, technically, yes, for the Republican way. All in the family, being that messenger. It isn't doing him any good in the future.
True.
Foreign leaders don't respect him. Internally, he's, but he's playing his game.
Okay. What was the conversation between Zelensky and F-45 like?
I guess
I'm gonna use my.
I seen they were seated.
Weird cat tarot.
I haven't used these in a while. These Debbie's cards.
Ooh, cool.
Bird Spirit. Let's see what they say. Oh, what was the communication between 45? It feels like it was a bit more respectful because he was in front of the cameras, like you don't have the cards. Kind of.
Mhm.
So it was a bit more respectful. I don't see any deal done kind of thing.
Mm-mm.
Trump is still a lunatic.
Mhm.
Zelensky's just listening, and it's kind of like, oh my God, this guy has zero brain cells.
Mhm.
It was nothing meaningful. Didn't make any promises of more weapons or anything. Zelensky feels like he gave him some hope that there could be some changes, but nothing solid. That's what Spirit's telling me.
I did it from two ways. How did Trump see the conversation? Well, it didn't do anything to change his mind. It was the Seven of Swords. He was just saying, look, this is where I am. But it was more temperate. And I think that might have given Zelensky some comfort. Of course, he knows the guy's a clown and he changes his suit every day. But Zelensky got the definite impression that someone was talking to Trump, trying to tell him the truth. But he got the definite impression from the conversation. This is a Four of Pentacles, that Trump is not in charge. And so, what is Zelensky's part of it? He'll always be friendly. He'll always be open because this country needs that.
Yeah.
He wasn't going to let Trump steal anything from him. He was bringing forth the Three of Cups. We can all can get together on this at some point. Zelensky didn't lie about how strong Ukraine was. He just said what was going on around him. But Zelensky was definitely the warrior. So. So let's see. Next.
Okay. So I got Pathways, the first one, which is a Queen of Coins. But that talks about decisions and free will and new paths.
Mm-hmm.
The key is the Eight of Coins. And it's a success and opportunities. And then I am enough.
Mm-hmm.
So that is saying that Zelensky was saying, we aren't giving up. We're winning.
Mm-hmm.
We have enough support, but we'd like you on our side.
Mm-hmm.
Then I have the next three are the tree.
Mm-hmm.
That's health and stabilization and strength.
Mm-hmm.
I am brave enough to see the light. And then the Sith. The scythe, this. That's the Jack of Coins. So there's a lot of substance there, what Zelensky was talking about.
Mm-hmm.
The Sith can be breaking things apart, ripping what you sow, but it's also like being surgical in how they're doing their war and their action. So brave enough and have strength. I think it's because Europe has come together to support him. Outcome. I have the woman. The Ace of Wands, I think it is. Feminine energy. The lily. Peace, talking about peace. And then the mice. So the mice makes it like trying to get detailed work together, because mice do work together to create something, but they create destruction. So there's that worry and deterioration there. So I don't think it ended up being anything meaningful.
No.
Because Zelensky talked about strength, kind of as normal. We got this. We're winning. We got support. We want your support. The mice would be Trump picking away at Ewing, you ain't got enough. You need to call a peace deal kind of feeling. So, bottom of the deck, I had the coffin. That would be an ending, a new beginning. It's kind of like the death card. So, but it's also depression and negativity.
Well, it can't be a happy topic between them at all.
See, nothing great came out of it, but it feels like Zelensky showing strength. But you can't really talk to a crazy person and expect good outcomes.
I know. Good Sunday morning. Thank you, Patricia. The last day of campaigning in the California election process. Is this like their primaries for something?
Hoping our Trump guy loses, but California. I'm not.
I don't know who we're talking. Well, this might be a great read, Scott, because we have absolutely no idea
what election.
What we're talking about. See, let's just. I'm going to ask if the Trump guy is going to lose his butt.
Is there a special election going on or something?
Mm-hmm.
Canada election is tomorrow.
Is that Canada or is that CA California or Canada?
Oh, that could be. Oh yeah, that's Canada. There we go. I think it's Canada.
Okay. Yeah, CA. I would never see CA as Canada, so
that's right.
My limited brain.
Thank you. Getting us on a straight and narrow with Canada. Okay. It was lowercase, so kind of confused too.
Yeah, her keyboard did not behave.
Okay. Outcome of Canada. Last day, Canada election.
Well, she wants to know if he's going to lose his butt. Yes.
What do we got?
Oh, well, he had all the money he needed. He had the 9 of Pentacles, but then he's got the 2 of Cups. People don't like him. They see him for what he is. He's a magician who's upside down. His power is doing him no good. The people don't, in their hearts, don't want what he's trying to sell. And it's going to be good for Canada. It's going to show their strength. So my question was, is that guy going to lose his butt? And it was yes. What was the fate of that guy? What'd you get? I got the sun at the bottom. Sun right side up or upside down is a good thing. So
even though it's got a good outcome, I think people are worried that they could turn into Trump land.
Yeah, they could become the 51st state.
Right. My bottom is anxiety. So I think there is some worry. Please get out and vote. We don't want to be Trump 2.0. So I have the death card first in the past, new beginnings, but it's 9 of Cups next to that. So we got a celebration of better. Feeling pleased, and the Page of Wands is a new. It's a young. Carney's not a younger man, but it's the new messenger. And then, and then I have Canada celebrating with the 3 of Cups, King of Pentacles, and 6 of Cups would be keeping the same from the past. So I think Carney wins, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But we do have those anxieties of.
Well, it's not like we've always seen elections go like we thought they should.
You know, you got the 9 of Pentacles, I got the 9 of Cups. So those are good cards for a better outcome than becoming the 51st state and Trump 2.0 up there.
Okay,
I think generally everyone's has a better feel for the liberal side. You know, Carney's not, liberal, but much better option.
I think we should all give ourselves a round of applause because we made it through the first 100 days.
Yeah, I'm getting grayer.
I finally watched a complete Rachel Maddow show. I just decided I was going to watch it. I don't know why. I was just said watch it, and it was last Tuesday, and it was her first year of that. She has that big 20-minute splice at the beginning. She went through exactly what I kept telling everybody was going to happen. She went through the first 100 days and all these grand pronouncements he made and how far none of them got. And when you saw them all together, I sent them to a reader who's always going on at me about, oh, but this happened and this happened. I'm like, look at it over the whole thing. It was really, so if you can go find that one Rachel Maddow show, it will make you feel better, I think.
Yeah, she's done. She's going back to just Mondays now.
Right, because she's got books and she had some productions and some movies and some stuff in the works, and she had to put it all on hold. So
yeah, they agreed to do 5 days for the first 100 days, and back to just Mondays.
Yeah, she'll be on the 11th, I think, is when it changes. A friend and I got the Tower card, followed by the Sun
And the World.
World. I think it was World. So, what is the Tower card? Is the Tower card what's happening politically? Is that a total shakeup? Give them a tarot lesson, Scott.
So if the Tower card came first, how I read that, so we got a Tower. That's the big shakeup. That's the craziness. The Sun is the best card in the deck to me, and the World is completion. Sun is enlightenment. All things beautiful come to. So the shakeup is now, and you have a great outcome. So if we had the Tower card the other way, let's say you have the Sun, everything is being enlightened. The World, we have changes coming, a culmination of what's been going on, and then you have a Tower moment. It'd be a long 4 years. That's how I'd read it. What do you think?
I think we had to have this time of Tower to get on with things. I mean, a lot of what the Tower is showing is, quite honestly, and you know, I'm not a Republican, but the intransigence of the Democratic Party. And it goes all the way back to when Obama just didn't put Merrick Garland on the Supreme Court. He should have done that. And that's something I support him. I think he did everything. And I loathe to be critical of a man that I think is brilliant, but that was the stupidest move they ever made. If they had stepped on McConnell's toes then they would have known they were serious. And there were so many ways that the Democratic Party folded. And I did a reading. Maybe you and I should do it, Scott. It's what is the Democratic Party more afraid of? The Republicans cheating or David Hogg? And I can tell you what the answer is. I mean, they do not want the young people woken up, and there's no way young people are going to support what Trump's doing. He's taking away their whole future. So this is as much of a Tower moment for the Democrats as everyone else, other than if you blow the economy of the country, that doesn't matter what party you're in. But anyway, this is one that's about that. Will universities join forces to fight 45? Will they be successful?
I think they are, because of Harvard finally took a stand, and they can see they're going to win. And I think other universities have joined them, like at a coalition, one for all fight. Let's see what the cards have to say.
Whoa, will they? Do you want to go?
Okay. So in the past, I got the Wheel of Fortune, Five of Wands, and Justice. So that means in the past position, we're not going to stand for it. It's in the middle, so the chaotic point of this administration, we're going to change, we're going to stand, and we're going to seek justice. We're going to seek balance in the society, and then all standing together. Page of Wands, my angelic influence, and Magician. So yeah, I think it's going to be successful. Their pushback's going to work. They have love and gratitude, the universe on their side, and the rule of law. If you don't, we will have a dark time in our society. So yeah, I think it's going to work.
Okay. I've got my answer to this question is yes, because of Harvard standing up to it. All of the Wheel of Fortune is on their sides. They're getting together in an extremely powerful way. They're not even gonna have to go into a real court fight about it. They're just gonna win and continue to float on in their little life that they have. And Trump, they've already reinstated a lot of the money that was required for the medical things that were out there, because there are people whose lives are depending on those programs going forward. You just can't stop the program. Well, you can try, which is what he's doing. Okay, and current comment, and I get to run the board today, guys. So
Deb Z, we already read on SCOTUS. We do feel they're gonna, what comes in front of them, they are gonna try to rein him in. That's what we were. Harvard is 389 years old. Wow.
Yeah, my daughter went to a women's college in North Carolina that was 2 years older than Harvard. It had been founded 2 years before. It was a normal college. Okay. Well, does all or part of Trump's appointees know that he stole the election? They don't care. I don't know how my cards can tell me, shrug, they don't care. But
I don't think it's about caring. I mean,
they can choose to not be consciously aware of something, Scott.
Yeah. I think the question is more about, do they actually know how much of a criminal he is, or are they just complete sycophants for their own power?
Okay, I'll ask that question. Are they doing this just for their own sense of power?
What is the administration? What is the administration? I mean, I can't believe how these people spend more time on Fox News than actually doing their job, the secretaries and whatnot.
I don't know. I don't want them in their office telling people to do things either. Sit on Fox.
It's like they're all in panic mode and get the message out there that they're not failures instead of.
Well, it's not failure unless you're living on one of the farms in Arkansas that got blown away by the tornado and all your livelihood just got taken away. They really felt like they weren't getting their fair share. They're joining up because they want to be part of the happy family. They see him as bringing in the new agenda, and it's a Knight of Cups. How anyone could see him as Knight of Cups is beyond me. They don't want this to be over, but the High Priestess is coming from. They don't see anything. They're in a fog. So they just believe the lie. Even when their own mind tells them this isn't right, they don't do it. So
Right. It's all about their empowerment. So I use Debbie's cards again.
Aha.
I got I am you. and pathways. It's their free will choice, and they're empowering themselves. It's all they care about. It's their narrative. They definitely know that Trump's a criminal. Trump's they've seen the court dates, they've seen the guilty pleas, they know about him being buddies with Epstein, everything. The moon here saying they know the secrets of the sun, and the bear is the bad guy. They know. They're doing it for their own power. They had the key to their own successes. Book and Lily. So it's like the Lily feels like that would be, it's like their contract, whether to be and Book. So I feel like they have the key to their own contract. So it's their choice. You will go down in history as a failure, or you can stand up for what's right and be, a Kissinger or a brain fart.
Her daddy was head of the War Department. Yes. Yeah.
Liz. Yeah.
Liz.
Those type of people, or you can be what you're doing now, and you will be judged for it. This is your life path to choose, and they're choosing to ignore it all.
They're choosing today. They're not looking 10 years down the road.
Right. It's their own karma, and they definitely know everything about him. They just choose the negative side of the world for their own power and successes, and bending to the bear.
Oh, funny puppy. It's okay. You can be late. Will formal impeachment begin before summer break for Trump?
Well, I'm going to stay with Debbie's cards. They seem to be singing pretty well to me today. Okay.
It's nice to change it up.
Well, I haven't used them in a while. She did a good job with her deck. A little mixture of words and
images
and what's that deck called? Lenormand? I think it's
Lenormand deck. Yeah.
Lenormand in there.
I have one of those decks, and I've studied how to do that, and I now understand when people look at me and say, "I could never read Tarot." I never.
It's different, that's for sure.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Will there be any impeachments? Any impeachments in 45?
Oh God, I got the card I didn't want to see.
On the bottom, I got don't push the river. That's meaning they're not going to rock the boat. Republicans in charge. They ain't going to rock the boat. In the past, I had the stork, the child, and rider. So the stork feels like the birth of the Republicans. Right now, they're in charge. Their phase, childish, poor, innocent, not thinking proper steps. And the rider it shows a horse. It's the 9 of hearts, 9 of cups. That would be progress, but it feels like backwards progress to me.
I got that card.
Moving forward, I got the dog, the lily, and the man. The dog is loyalty. The lily is maturity, and the man is connecting to the male energy. Impeachment. All that feels like is standing by their man. Not doing anything. The dog is that faithful one. We're going to stand by you. Outcome. The snake. lies, snake, lies and distraction. And then I am enough again. So that's all about I'm going to stay the course. And the fish, going with the flow. So no impeachments. We're going to distract. We're going to lie. We're going to do the same.
I don't have my for entertainment only card, but I'm holding up my for entertainment purposes only. When I started that question, it says he has to be alive. Look at the card I pulled. That's death.
There you go.
And I get it's not what they want. They don't know what to do. The home is all, their little playground is all upset. Someone's ready to come in and clean it up and make it better, but they're going to do it through the normal processes. They're not going to do it through impeachment. I don't think, and I tell you that I don't think he's going to be dead, but I think he's going to be so sick he can't do it, and they can impeach JD for what he did. So,
yeah,
I don't see Trump walking out of this summer.
Yeah, I keep getting these flashes of a serious illness or a worry of something.
Having delay him not being able to do anything. So Greg Abbott signed. I have somebody else posted this. This is not me. It's a Texas question. To be used for private schools. Is some of that money laundering to the KKK schools? Well, Real Rosie, it depends on how you look at the Christian and charter schools they're doing. We'll just ask if any money is going to go to schools that are run by the KKK. I don't think they're run formally by the Klan because the Klan doesn't have any money because they got sued out of existence. But is it with people whose hearts are... Huh?
Is that about the...
That's taking the public school money and giving it to charter schools. And she's saying, are these charter schools really being run by the KKK? Some of them.
So that's that voucher system?
Yeah.
I can't believe they passed that. Unreal. What is it money laundering? Is it money laundering?
Oh God. And my first 5, well, it's not going to last, but I got, yes, they're going to do it. Yes, they're already planning which schools to put it in. They think this is their Wheel of Fortune time to change, but they're going to run into really tough waters. And at the end, it doesn't work. It doesn't stay for any length of time. But for all the people who said, oh, we lost a year of school to COVID, we're going to lose 2 or 3 years of school to this. So.
Yeah, it destroys public schools.
And it destroys the rural schools are really up in arms over it because they're letting people do it if they homeschool and take voucher money to homeschool. And I homeschooled, but you have to be very disciplined and you have to decide. And we had a curriculum that came from a private school that's been sending that stuff out for a bazillion years, like almost 200. And it's in Maryland. And you have to be very disciplined. And I worked when I ran my home repair company. I worked in a lot of homes that said they were homeschooling those kids, and those kids just ran wild all day. They were not being homed or schooled. So, you want to throw our public money down a rabbit hole and end up with a bunch of knuckle dragging idiots. This is the way to do it.
Yeah. In the end, there was going to be outrage because it's going to cause a lot of lack of funding.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's not a good thing. They'll be showing, as far as money laundering, I don't get a money laundering, but
I think that's her opinion of laundering to go to them.
But it's like, it's going to cause hardship.
Mm-hmm.
5 of Cups, 5 of Swords, Chariot. This change is going to cause a lot of infighting and hardship for a lot of people. My hometown was like 1,000 people, and the school is struggling.
Mm-hmm.
There's not as many kids anymore.
Mm-hmm.
They're co-opting a lot of things. Eventually, down the road, it's probably going to be consolidated.
Mm-hmm.
3 or 4 schools are going to be consolidated into one just to afford anything.
That's the way they used to be before, when there were just a few farms out there and they hadn't gotten to the size of a town. I mean,
yeah.
Okay, this is states and businesses are suing F-45 because of the tariffs. Will anything change? I'm going to ask money cards because the other cards are getting sticky.
Let's see what you starred here. There was one we should look at.
Which one?
It just came in a bit ago.
Okay, I have this deal with Hegseth's phone number.
Valerie put it up.
Okay.
Looking at David Jolly's thinking about running for governor.
Governor. Okay, yeah, I'll look at that. You answer this question and let me go down and start star.
Okay.
Y'all have no idea what it's like to do both.
I know it is a little more difficult trying to run things in star and whatnot. States and businesses suing because of tariffs. Oh yeah, California is suing. I don't know who else. Other business. Yeah, I did see that. Okay. Suing over the tariffs. Suing over the tariffs.
Debbie Z, we answered about the Canadian election. We think it's going to go to the person we want.
Yeah. We're feeling Carney's going to be the winner. Okay. Suing. Yeah, it'll work. People are speaking out with a page of wands. Ace of Swords taking that victory lap, using their power, and then creating a change with a Wheel of Fortune. And then I got community. So I think this 4 of Wands kind of thing is more like the public service doing things the way they're supposed to. And then I have the Death card and then the government. So it feels like they're doing wrong with this Death card here. So it could be an ending to what the current administration is doing. The ending is King of Swords. So here could be the courts. Page of Swords, bringing down an order, and Magician. So a magician's creating things to do things properly. So I think it's illegal. Congress has the power of tariffs, unlike the way he's doing it. So yeah, eventually I think the orders are going to come down to the fact of proper way of doing things, and that it'll be a victory. Bottom of the deck, I have a lot of the chaos and destruction of what these tariffs are doing to the United States. Businesses, other businesses, car companies are laying off people. Construction is halting. New construction is folding. I was telling Nancy prior that my daughter has a friend that was going to build a house next to her on the property out there. And they halted it because the current price of building that house went up $300,000 because of the tariffs.
All that wood you need to build your house comes out of Canada.
Wood and Chinese fixtures.
Okay. You're going to have to remind me what I'm supposed to be looking for because I can't find it.
Valerie Woodford, or I can't remember her name.
What time was it?
10:59. 6 minutes ago. David Jolly's
David Jolly for governor, right?
Yeah, he's thinking about running for Florida governor.
Yes, he
He's
switched to the Democratic Party this week. From what I hear, the Democratic Party in Florida is a effing mess, but that's okay. That only comes from one political consultant who's worked in that party. Okay.
Will George Santos spill the tea from prison?
I don't know.
George gets over 7 years. Now he's begging 45 for pardon.
Okay. And he ought to get one because he just followed his leader. Will you look at David Holly? And it's Jolly.
It's
he
Jolly.
Changed to Democrat, former Republican. Okay, we'll look at that one. And then I'll start working backwards.
David Jolly's future
in Florida.
If there's no good candidate, definitely he would. Change things for the state. He's an older fellow, though. I don't know why we might need all these older fellows taking over.
He's not that old. He's not, at least I can tell you what. Durbin got the message. He said he's not running again. He's going to be 80 next year. The whole fact he thought he could run again is like appalling to me.
Yeah. Be another Iowa Grassley.
Yeah.
Pushing 90 by the time we finish the next term.
Yeah.
David.
Okay. I got good cards for David. I got the 10 of Cups. He's got some really strong people inside Florida behind him. He's going to have to do a little bit of mea culpa because of his Republican connections, but he's going home. He's going to the party he should have been with all the time. And it's not going to be as hard a battle. That's the 7 of Wands as he thinks it is. So it looks good for him. That's a yes, no, but the yeses are positive things.
Yeah, he does have good backing. I got Knight of Swords taking on the challenge. Strength, I think he's got backing. And then Knight of Cups, he would be a good leader. Queen of Cups, 10 of Cups, and 8 of Wands is the outcome. That's a female taking charge.
Yes, females can be work. Well, maybe a female takes over that party. That's what they need. They need new blood running their party.
I do have some conflicts here since it's not till what, 26?
So
I got
now's the time to be running.
Temperance, waiting things out. Looking at the situation, the Hermit, and then the 7 of Swords. So I think he's just kind of waiting, putting his name out there to see what the reaction is, and decipher through the things, but he would be a good leader. Possibility one winning, but some reason, even if he throws his hat in the ring, I'm getting a lot of female energy.
The women in Florida have had it. I mean, they can't get insurance. They can't hold on to their houses.
Empress and the Queen of Cups along with all this. So there may be a female energy taking either a side with him or fight, running against in the Democratic primary kind of thing.
Okay.
But no, it's a good thing for him to talk.
Okay. Both the VA and the State Department have implemented an anti-Christian task force.
Oh, yeah. Good Lord. Yeah.
Okay. Are they clear this up for me, Scott. Are they being anti-Christian or are they going after people who are anti-Christian?
Yes.
Which one?
Pam Bondi said, we will be a Christian nation. We're going to fight and prosecute anyone that is anti-Christian in our country. Some crazy stuff.
Oops, we're in trouble, Scott. Because when they start defining what's Christian, let me tell you.
VA statement from anti-Christian. It's crazy because they're trying to order by memo, right? Legislate and order by memo.
Mm-hmm.
It's not the way things play out, It's like chaos, chaos, chaos. Go to court and lose. Chaos, chaos, chaos. Go to court and lose.
Okay, what I've got is there's very childish and emotional plea involved with this, and they're at the 5 of Cups point. These people are empty. They don't have the power, the education to know what they're doing. And then is it going to happen? No, because people aren't going to go for it. And it's just the people who try to implement this are the ones who are going to end up imprisoned because they won't be able to find anybody to work. So they're screwed.
Right. It feels like a non-issue to me, but it's kind of like 7 of Coins is kind of like implementing your ideas, putting it down on paper. 4 of Cups, just like, let's see how this plays out.
Mm-hmm.
2 of Coins, you keep moving in different directions.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't really have like cards that show boom losses, but it's just like they're just testing the waters on craziness.
It's not going to. I mean, how can you tell if someone believes in Christianity or not?
It feels like they just want to throw this out there and keep the faith base, evangelicals louder kind of feeling, like with Paula White as their.
Mm-hmm. Oh, did you see that thing where she was basically selling indulgences at the White House? I was just like, God, I haven't seen that since I saw a movie about the Middle Ages. So if you don't know what indulgences are, it's what you used to pay the Catholic Church so that you didn't go to hell.
Yeah, $1,000 blessing or something like that.
Mm-hmm. Are the drones that on the East Coast have something to do with Musker the felon? No.
What? There's more drones lately? I haven't heard anything.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah. Well, I mean, it's old news now. They're not reporting it all the time, but they're still out there. No, they have nothing to do with Musker felon. I mean, they're not sending them in, if you're thinking that's what it is.
Drones. Don't think so.
No, I pulled one card and that's no one of power. It's someone from outside of here. And we don't need, that's Dr. Gale's show. Go talk to Dr. Gale about it. She'll help you.
Spirits is in trouble. I don't believe in the Bible or churches.
That's fine. You don't have to.
7 blessings for the low price of $1,000.
Mm-hmm.
And by the way, buy Dear Leader's crypto coin.
Oh, yeah. And then you can go have an audience with him and you get to smell his pee pants. I mean, what a fun thing. The University of Alabama had a lot to say about Trump. And
they took a lot of money away from the University of Alabama. They're not happy.
Have they joined the university thing?
Yep, they're pissed. They're ready to sue and fight back. Queen of Swords, Strength, Hermit, being illuminated, orders, taking charge. You must do what you did in the past. And so, yeah, I think they're going to be up in arms and pushing back.
Tuberville, who's up to his eyeballs with the whole invasion of the House of Representatives by the crowd on January 6th, he's going to go run for governor in Arizona.
They all want out of the federal.
They all want to. They know. You think they don't know? Look at how many have said they're leaving. They know.
They all want to run for governor and get out of the federal system, senator.
Yeah, the Alabama wants nothing to do with Trump, and so we got that one. Will Act Blue shut down?
They're Pam Bondi's suing Act Blue, saying it's a money laundering operation.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the thing is, like I said, they're legislating by memo.
Mm-hmm.
You have to actually sue and get a grand jury to indict.
Mm-hmm.
That's not how it all works.
No, they're going to just try to give him hassle. They don't like Act Blue because they really are an efficient way to get the money to the Dems. The only thing I don't like about Act Blue is they don't have a checkbox that says, don't give my name and address to absolutely everyone else who wants money.
The government's just trying to control the narrative.
Right.
For the Mad King.
Mm-hmm.
Hierophant, son, and King of Coins.
Mm-hmm.
They're just throwing any spaghetti at the table to make it be and just wait things out.
Mm-hmm.
8 of Swords, 4 of Cups, and 7 of Cups.
Mm-hmm.
Everything's delusion. They're
Mm-hmm.
you just try to restrict any way you can and see how it plays out. That's 4 of Cups is kind of like waiting. We're gonna see how it plays out. We're gonna throw some nonsense out there and see how it plays out. That's all it is. King of Swords, victory, 5 of Coins, and Queen of Wands in the outcome. Mm-hmm. So lawyering could be judges. There's a victory there. 5 of Coins, that's a loss. And Queen of Wands, better heads prevail. So yeah, it won't be shut down. It's just chaos to be chaos.
Speaking of chaos, Nancy Pelosi refuses to step down and allow anyone else to take her seat. Will she be removed? And Spirit in the Stars, that's a person. This is for entertainment purposes only. She's nothing but an in-house stock trader. So are they all. There's the young senator from Georgia who's instituted that you can't trade on the information. He's tried to put that law in. He's put it in for consideration.
So what she wants?
She thinks. I think Nancy Pelosi should go.
I mean, she's got her seat until 26 or 27 in January.
Yeah, but the thing is, people need to know now so that people who want to run for that seat can build a coalition to get the seat. But this is another. I've got a question after this one about
Nancy Pelosi's future. Nancy Pelosi's future.
I get a yes and a no. I think she's gonna decide to pull out. There's a lot of fighting going on around her. So I told you that
Nancy Pelosi's future.
Mm-hmm.
Future. Queen of Swords, World, Knight of Wands. I think this shows that she's still staying strong.
Mm-hmm.
she's not liking the judgment upon her right now. Five of
Mhm.
coins, 2 of cups, and judgment.
Mm-hmm.
So she's taking a little heat there, and she's not really liking this judgment upon her. The ending shows Queen of Swords. I think that's who she's been.
Mm-hmm.
The World feels like she's done enough. Knight of Wands, the Battle, and then the Death card.
Mm-hmm.
The
I
Death
don't
card,
think she's going to run.
yeah, the Death card would mean ending.
It's transition, moving on.
Yeah, and that's in the last position.
Mm-hmm. So
So
she's not there yet.
yeah, she's still there. Yeah, she's not dead. So if I would have got the Death card in the first of my outcome, that would mean she's going to stay and fight.
Mm-hmm.
But I got it last.
Mm-hmm.
Since I got it last, that means I think this is her last term. She's had enough. And like with Dick Durbin, someone we're seeing light. It's time to pass the torch.
Matter of fact, last time I saw her and Dick Durbin in the same room was when they were trying to heal the rift between Hillary and Obama's people after the primaries when he'd won. And they came to Dallas and did a thing where they spoke to an audience. And they were there together. It's like the conclave in Congress. We need progressive younger generation who understand community and technology. That's true.
Yeah, I couldn't imagine myself being 80 some and wanting to be in Congress.
I couldn't imagine it when I was 50 some and people, you ought to run. No.
But they do it.
Okay.
Keep plugging away for more money or whatever they're doing.
Nancy, have you ever thought about building a grid for political balance? I wouldn't do that to my stones. I like them too much. I built a grid for the world, and now the center stone's cracking, and I've never had that happen in a grid either.
Ooh, crazy.
Oh yeah, it's a fluorite, and it's really nuts. We've been watching it. It actually, I saw the crack in the middle of it right after the election in November. So Dems need to do better with their messaging. Couldn't agree with you more. Speak to and for their constituents. And for the constituents, not at them, and listen to them. Debbie Z, go to CLSB Politics, and there's a young man who's talking that all the time. Sean started a new 5-part series on where we should go nationally if we really want to grow. So that's both my businesses kind of thing. Okay, now let's go to the new comments at the bottom. Okay, the DNC went off on David Hogg. Yes, and they're not going to win.
I want to read on him.
Okay.
Because it is kind of interesting. He's got his own messaging. The DNC and the old establishment don't like it.
Mm-hmm.
You're not being in step. So I want to read on him. His energy. Is it good or bad? They're somewhat infighting.
Mm-hmm.
I want to see what's up with this energy of David in the DNC.
Okay.
What's the energy, good or bad? David Hogg.
Ooh, I'm doing a Celtic cross on him. It looks good. Wow. Yes.
Okay, he's bringing in the star, the faith and hope, bright prospect, and changes. But it's showing he's ruffling feathers a little too quickly with the 4 of Swords and 5 of Wands. So we got some conflicts. We got some, you should chill. a little bit slower with the Four of Swords.
Mhm.
And then I come to, it's not a bad thing though. I got the Three of Cups, the Ten of Cups, and Seven of Pentacles. Looking for a complete family. And that will show a celebration and goodness. Moving forward, Four of Pentacles. It's kind of like being stingy, controlling money in a sense. Wheel of Fortune is good luck and transition. Eight of Wands is a positive, fast-moving progress. So my outcome of what he's doing right now. Queen of Pentacles is down to earth. Nine of Swords is some worry and anxiety. Eight of Pentacles continuing the work, and Eight of Swords. So eventually he'll be restricted, according to this. So it's good and a bad thing. I'm getting like it's like boom, he's doing the right thing. You got to do things a certain way it feels.
Yeah, but that's the problem with the Democratic Party. That's why Merrick Garland's not in the Supreme Court.
You know, it's good and bad. He's going to energize, but he's going to, what do you want to say, ostracize or ostracize himself? You know,
he's going to, and they're going to try to diminish him.
Yeah, that kind of feeling.
Okay.
But it's good. But within a structure of a family, he's kind of putting himself out on a pedestal.
He's the brat kid that they don't want to do.
But I think it's a good thing. In the bottom, I have Six of Pentacles. It ends up being a good back and forth and giving and receiving moment. But he can bring in youth, and then it'll eventually get gelled together. But it's a learning lesson how to play the big DNC game as a young man. So what did you think?
This is what I got for him in this Celtic Cross. His background was he came in as a magician. He's always been powerful. And right now he's sitting there as the King of Cups. His appeal is on the emotions. Of course, he spent his life dodging bullets, which most of the people in Congress have not. What he's got going for him right now is he is reining himself back in, but he's still going to go out and speak his truth as the Knight of Cups, as a person who deals with emotions. Right now, he is listening to the Hierophant, the structure that's there, that they don't like what he's doing. His hopes and fears is to get past those within the party that just want to cut people up, irregardless. He's planting his seeds right now. I think he's doing a pretty good job of that. But this is where he comes in. He's bringing in the Tower. They may try to get rid of him and they may try to diminish him. And I think the way they're going to try to do that is by cutting off, trying to stop him from getting to the family money, to the way they can run things. But in the end, he has the spiritual message people want. So I think he's going to be more successful at what he's trying to do than other people do. And then my card on the bottom of my deck, I have the High Priestess. He just knows. He's so in tune with where people want to be. But look, they can say what they want, but look at what Jasmine Crockett and AOC are doing, and Bernie's doing. I mean, he's like a young Bernie that they can't quite figure out how to get rid of. And he did raise $20 million. So he has backing to keep going around. And from what I hear on the circuit here is Beto's coming to get together with him. So Beto's great at raising money and he has a good message. It's just he lives in a state that's so corrupt, his very name. Oh, that's the other good news. The judges in Texas said, no, judges in North Carolina said, no, you can't take those 60,000 votes away because you don't like how it's going to change the Supreme Court. Tough titties. They get seated.
Good.
So we're at kind of the end of our time. We're at an hour and a half. Is there any question that hasn't been answered?
Oh, I think we covered plenty.
I think we were equal opportunity destroyers. We were those, we were looking at it from all sides. Let's see what I can find to pull.
What do we need to know this week?
What do we need to know this week? Well, we're going to get it from my cards I used to build my grids. What's our message for this week from here?
Okay. So I get the ego, the first card, which is the devil, in this deck. So getting wrapped up in fear and anxiety is not a good thing. Always seek an intellectual solution. Don't be quick to act, and everything becomes emotionally better. So don't react to the news. Don't react to any situation irrationally. Take a step back and say, okay, what's the best place for me to be in? The best place. And you can always have better enlightenment by not being overreacting. There you go.
Okay. The card I pulled out of the activation network was this one, and it's Soul Time. It's a really pretty card. I built this one before. The frequency of soul time asks us to allow the possibility for a new reality to emerge. One that embraces the concept that when the corporal body is more mortal, the soul is timeless, limitless, and infinite. So if we tie to our soul, that's what we need to be doing now. We need to quit tying ourselves to our body things. And this is an interesting comment. When a stone cracks or explodes, it's taken up all the energy it's capable of taking in. Trust me, that's how it feels on the grid. There was a little white spot in the top that's gotten bigger and bigger. And then when you look inside, there's lines. If you look, I can't ever show it because my cameras suck, but there's lines in the inside where it's literally breaking apart. And the day I saw it, I called the other people who'd helped me inaugurate it on New Year's 2 years ago. And I said, what do you think? And they said, well, that's kind of freaky. Has that happened before? And I've never seen it happen before. So we are in dangerous times. We are in times when things are changing, but do what my card said, soul time. If you deal with what's inside you, you can so much better navigate what's happening here. If you let them decide what winds get in your sails, you're just going to get knocked all over the place. And I love and peace. I'm still doing the 9 candles. They were on day 4. Yeah, 4 is tonight at 7. They run as a premiere, but you can catch them anytime. Actually, one of them didn't run as a premiere. It went up at midnight, and it got more views than my ones that show up at 7. So
I'll catch them all at some point.
That's a lesson, and but the messages are really good, and you may see another familiar face in the mix of the people doing so. And if you haven't seen it this year and you think, oh, 9 candles are 9 candles, let's see if I can get the picture. I can show you what the 9 candles look like. Let's see if it's awful because I took the camera off a box. There's the 9 candles. There's the candles. A cherry pie, a banana waffles, watermelon. Last day, if you come in the 9th candle, we're lighting the banana split. So.
Indulge.
Indulge, yeah. We have a tooth for the dentist we're all going to have to go to. This is a dragon fruit martini.
Nice. I like it.
That was Danny's candle. So everybody, thank you for coming. Thank you for being supportive. I've got my usual show on Tuesday. And I think I have a show tomorrow with Terry. So we'll see. It'll be on my channel. I'll let you know. And thank you, Scott, for being here. And thank you for letting me run the dashboard. I don't know if that's a thank you.
I was busy with kids and you took control.
Yeah, well, my oxygen stats have been very low this week. That's the only reason I would agree to do that. Whoa, they're getting better.
Better mojo.
Everybody have a great week. And I think it's just going to get better and brighter. Bye-bye.
Bye.